watching Times Now. I'm Meenakshi Upreti. Tensions in the Middle East. That's going to be a top focus for the next 30 minutes, which are continuing to escalate. Israel has launched a new wave of airstrikes targeting key missile launches and storage sites in Iran. That's the latest which is coming from the ground. The Israeli Defense Forces confirmed that 60 Israeli fighter jets were involved in this particular operation, which aimed at crippling Iran's missile capabilities. Now, the strikes described by Israel as large-scale attacks targeted critical military infrastructure. That's what Israel had to say, including Iran's missile command centers. Multiple explosions were basically heard in the capital, Tehran, as well. The conflict between Israel and Iran has now entered its sixth consecutive day, viewers, with no sign of de-escalation in sight. Today, Iran's supreme leader, that's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, issued a stern warning to Israel, vowing a harsh retaliation for the recent Israeli airstrikes on Iranian soil. Khamenei declared that Iran would respond strongly and also show no mercy to what he referred to as Israel's terrorist regime. This latest warning basically comes amidst escalating aerial attacks between both the nations. Now, Israel continues to target Iranian missile storage and also launch sites. Okay, we have some breaking news coming in, viewers. This is related to the latest developments from the ground. The IDF basically says over 50 Israeli fighter jets have been struck by the military targets in Tehran area. That's the latest coming in at the moment. What we know at the moment is that this is all IDF's claims. They're saying that 50 Israeli fighter jets have struck military targets in Tehran. This happened overnight. The ops happened overnight, including a centrifuge production site used to advance Iran's nuclear weapons program. That's the obviously big claim coming in from the side of the IDF. Additional strikes also, they say, in high facilities producing missiles and also air defense components as part of Israel's effort to cripple Iran's weapons industry and also nuclear ambitions. So that's the latest coming in. Basically, Iran and Israel tensions escalating. Israel basically saying, the IDF saying that 50 Israeli fighter jets have struck multiple military targets in Tehran. Srinjoy joining us live on the broadcast. Srinjoy, tensions obviously only escalating. IDF saying that 50 Israeli fighter jets have also struck now military targets in Tehran. As you know, we were discussing earlier, tensions showing no signs of letting down.
Yes, this near war, as you can call it, is continuing. And the Israelis have hit centrifuge manufacturing sites. Now, a centrifuge is responsible for helping in the production of nuclear weapons. The centrifuge helps in enrichment, for one. So Israel making it very clear they want to destroy Iran's nuclear weapon production capability. Now, Iran had not reached that enrichment level. Now, even then, Israel believes, and the Prime Minister himself has said, the Prime Minister of Israel, that is, that Iran is close to making 9 nuclear weapons. Now, that apart, to get to a nuclear weapon, you have to enrich uranium to the level of about 80%. Now, to do that, you need certain steps to do it. And Israel is saying that it is targeting those steps that are necessary, those technical steps that are necessary, like the production of centrifuges and this and that. All of that are being attacked by Israel. Now, Iran also has been striking back, and the war does not appear to be ending in any way. Yes, in the G7 meeting in Canada, many of the G7 leaders, including President Macron of France, has spoken about a ceasefire, has spoken about the two sides getting down, the tensions coming, about the tensions and the effort to ensure that this fighting stopped. But as of now, there is no sign of the fighting ending.
So no sign, obviously, of fighting ending, as we can see latest updates also coming in. IDF saying that they have struck multiple military sites in Iran. Srinjoy, stay with us. We also have Major General retired Rajan Kochar joining us. He's a defense expert. Thank you, sir, for joining us on Times Now. Near war situation, if you could just call it that. IDF now putting out the latest saying that 50 Israeli fighter jets have struck military targets in Tehran area. They say a centrifuge production site used to advance nuclear weapons program also has been hit. Help us understand really, sir, what these type of precision strikes mean, and also obviously how do you view the tensions which we are seeing escalating with each passing minute?
Okay, now what happens is that whenever you have a nuclear site or a nuclear installation, most of the things like the centrifuges and the uranium stockpiles and all are all underground. They are a good about 80 to 100 meters inside the ground, and if you do not have the capability of a bomb like DBU-57, which is only delivered by the B-52 bombers, and one B-52 bomber at the most, according to recent reports, can carry two such bombs. And you need to have a number of strikes because you have to drill a channel, and that channel has to be followed by a number of these bombs, which are basically bunker busting bombs. So as of now, according to reports available, Israel does not have any of these. So to say that they've been able to damage or cause destruction in a manner to delay a nuclear program or to disrail the nuclear program of Iran would be an understatement. And at the most, what you would be destroying is the entrance part of those tunnels and the infrastructure which is over the ground. And when we mean the precision strikes, it is basically that infrastructure which is existing in terms of your power plants, power generation plants, or your research centers, where the research of the nuclear is fusion and fission and your nuclear technology is carried out. That would be possibly in buildings which is over the ground. So what Israel is trying to convey is that they have carried out precision strikes on the infrastructure which is visible above the ground. What is under the ground, I don't think they have the capability to target it, because that is why we are seeing some movements of these bomber squadrons which are based in Diego Garcia.
Yes.
Now, Diego Garcia, from Diego Garcia also they can carry out their missions, but possibly they would like to stage forward. And that is what has been reported yesterday, the movement of approximately 30 bombers from
And
Diego
also, you're right,
Garcia.
that there are also reports of US deploying more jets. Those reports which have been coming in, does it mean that US possibly is going to eventually enter the war directly? What happens next? Obviously, that's the big question. Thank you for joining us. Meanwhile, viewers, amidst rising tensions in the Middle East, which is what we're talking of, it's the US President Donald Trump and also Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu who have held a phone conversation. According to reports, the two leaders have been in close contact as the conflict between Israel and also Iran obviously is intensifying. The White House has confirmed that President Trump personally dialed Netanyahu. In fact, talking about how the world is reacting, French President Emmanuel Macron has made a very significant statement regarding the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran. In a recent address, Macron basically warned that a regime change in Iran would possibly be a grave mistake, emphasizing that such a move could lead to widespread chaos and unpredictable consequences. Macron said that no one knows what comes next, reflecting on the unstable aftermath of past regime changes in the region. He also mentioned that US President Donald Trump has spoken about a potential ceasefire, highlighting the growing international calls for de-escalation. Listen to what he had to say.
Vous allez bien depuis hier? Ça va? Bon, merci beaucoup d'être là. Nous ne voulons pas un Iran qui se dote de l'arme nucléaire. ou qui ait ses capacités balistiques. Mais je pense que la plus grande des erreurs aujourd'hui, c'est de chercher par la voie militaire à faire un changement de régime en Iran. Parce que ce sera là le chaos. Mais il a tenu le groupe ensemble, il l'a fait avec son élégance et sa détermination qui le caractérise. Je le connais depuis plusieurs années, il ne s'en départit jamais. Non aux actions militaires qui conduiraient à un changement de régime, parce que personne ne sait dire ce qui vient après. Et diable, collectivement, nous n'avons pas vu les conséquences que ça avait dans la région ailleurs. Est-ce que quelqu'un pense que ce qui a été fait en 2003 en Irak était une bonne idée? Est-ce que quelqu'un pense que ce qui a été fait en Libye la décennie précédente était une bonne idée? Non.
Plus proche de la caméra plutôt des extérieurs pour éviter de l'avoir de profil.
Alors écoutez, le cessez-le-feu, comme c'était surtout le président Trump qui l'évoquait hier. Et vos collègues d'ailleurs qui l'ont interviewé comme CNN l'ont écrit. Et quand le président Trump dit « je dois rentrer parce qu'il y a des discussions en cours, on va parler et il faut parler », ça s'appelle des discussions généralement pour cesser le feu.
Meanwhile, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has downplayed the likelihood of US military involvement in the ongoing conflict. Starmer expressed confidence that President Donald Trump would not escalate the situation, saying that American attack is not imminent. Starmer, who recently held a 2-hour-long discussion with President Trump, also noted that G7 leaders have been actively engaged in talks about de-escalation. According to Starmer, Trump himself has called for efforts to reduce tensions in the region. Listen in.
Well, I don't think you should read into that an American attack is imminent. We sat here, we had a 2-hour discussion with the President last night on the Middle East, on this very issue, and as a result of that, the G7 statement came out very clear about the risk of the nuclear program in Iran, Israel's right to self-defense, and the need to de-escalate across the region, including in Gaza. So, well, the wording of the G7 statement, I think, speaks for itself, and I sat next to the President for that 2-hour discussion as we were working through not just the issues, but the statement itself.
So you're not worried about escalation?
I'm clear that we need to de-escalate.
Are you worried about escalation?
Of course I'm worried about escalation, which is why my focus is on de-escalation. I'm worried about escalation in the region and the impact it would have in the region. I'm worried about the impact it would also have on Gaza, and I'm very pleased that the focus now is also on a ceasefire in Gaza, which I want to press for in coming days as well.
All right, with that, viewers, we'll slip into a short commercial break. News and updates on the other side. Please don't go anywhere.